What's going on, Paisanos? V here, coming at you guys. Well, with the new tier system. The new tiers in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is always very important. It's important to acknowledge the fact that your deck's tier 0, your deck's tier 1, 1.5, or even casual. I'm not saying when a deck is casual, it can't win the regionals. I mean, Nebraska is a perfect example of that. Or that whole region over there is a perfect example of that. But if you go to anywhere else, you're going to want to acknowledge these tiers. I always say constantly, if you guys have been watching my Mark Watch videos, respect the deck. You always need to respect these decks. You always need to know what they do, know what their Achilles heel is, and know when to go in and use your cards to stop them at the right time in order to gain advantage. It's very important. This is all this meta is all about, is knowing your opponent's deck and knowing when to play the right card to stop them, or the right card to counter what they're doing, and then going ahead and, of course, blowing them out next turn. It's very important for that. Now, with all these tier decks, I've been playing a lot of regionals. I've been trying to go to about at least a regionals a month. I love going and traveling to other places and seeing the player base and seeing all you Paisanos and playing different decks. I always try to challenge myself. In fact, I just recently at the Greenville, South Carolina regionals played Light Orcas, an amazing deck that taught me a lot about the deck. I actually didn't know how to play a deck whatsoever, and I always ask you guys to challenge yourselves to try doing that. Anyway, guys, before we go with the rest of this tier list video, make sure to like the video, comment down below, and subscribe. Also, comment question of the day: what deck are you playing and why? And are you looking to play Dragon Maidens, as they could possibly be a tier 1 deck or maybe a tier 2 deck? Who knows? I'd love to know what you guys think in the comments down below. Once again, please make sure to subscribe. And if you're looking to buy any decks or cards on TCG Player, use the link in the description below. Make sure to bookmark it. I really appreciate it, Paisanos. So right out the gate, I don't have this in no specific order. I'm just gonna go with Marine Cess. When Marine Cess first came out, we saw Marine Cess basically go insanely expensive. I mean, that's what we saw. We saw value, but we didn't see the playability for that value. After the first weekend, being YCS, I believe was in London. The following weekend, we still saw some decks top, but not as much as the other decks at all. But I'm gonna put Marine Cess at tier 1.5. I think once again, it's a great deck against a knowledgeable opponent. You play an opponent who doesn't respect you with Marine Cess, well, they're just giving you the win. You play an opponent that has to read your cards constantly if you're playing Marine Cess, well, that's an easy game. But if you play an opponent who's playing maybe like Orcas or Thunder Dragon with non-targeting removal, they will know exactly what to do and how to beat you. And against you, well, more of an easy matchup. It's not, you know, 100% you're gonna lay down and die. You play obviously a lot of great back row, but I do think Marine Cess have a huge problem against all these other decks that once they know what they do, kind of game. Up next, Thunder Dragon. So as much as I would love to put Thunder Dragons as tier 1, I think we're gonna put them at tier 1.5. And before you go, V, wait a minute, I don't agree with that. Listen, I think with the new Thunder Dragon combo that utilizes Siegfried and Cancer Dragon Levineer at 3, I think that is a new build of tier 1 Thunder Dragons. I 100% agree with that. I personally love Thunder Dragons. I play them. I actually recently did a deck profile and won them at my previous regionals in South Carolina with Thunder Dragons. But you'd be foolish to say they're the best deck when the best deck is the one that uses the full combo. Thunder Dragon is mainly a combo deck, and it's kind of weird to see it in pure form not be as combo oriented. And I think when it is combo oriented, the deck is just better. And looking at it right now, as previous tops by players, I think the combo build is easily the best build out of all the builds currently right now. You get 2 cards in your opponent's hand, you put up the gates. It's a pretty good build of Thunder Dragons, and of course, dragons in general. Nevertheless, I think this is a tier 1 build. I do think Thunder Dragons is 1.5. I think, let me just differentiate 1.5 from 1. 1.5 is a deck an average player will go to play with and maybe top. An exceptional player will consistently top, and an amazing player will always make top 8. It's very hard to do that as 1.5. Tier 1 is a lot easier. These decks are decks that are topping all over the place, are making top 8, are easily topping the events. And casual, once again, I've never seen a casual player play something silly like, let's see, like Evil Swarms and consistently make top 8 in this meta. Can it happen? Sure. It's just very unlikely. So that's as far as the mentality of the meta. Once again, I do think tier 1 players playing tier 1 decks can still play bad and at a casual level, where a casual player deck can play better at a tier 1 level. We always see this in the beginning of every regional format with like Mermells, where Mermells are at best, I mean, we're really stretching it, tier 1.5, and yet you see Mermells still topping throughout the beginning of a meta where Yu-Gi-Oh! Players have an undefined meta where they don't know what's the best deck and what's not. And that's what we see with Mermells. And looking at that, That's why I say like the metas tier 1.5, casual, they're always constantly changing. So keep an eye out for that. Next, Infernoids. So I think Infernos are really good at fighting tier 1 decks. I think they're insanely good at fighting tier 1 decks. But they lose to almost every tier 1.5 deck. Infernos just have a huge problem against a lot of tier 1.5 decks. Against Thunder Dragons, hell, even Marine Cess. The minute you establish board state with Marine Cess, it's insanely hard for Thunder Dragons to beat you. Not to mention all the other cards that are in tier 1.5. Thunder Dragons can easily answer tier 1. For the most part, majority tier 1, they can easily answer. But against tier 1.5, no. No, they get blown out by that. So when you're playing Infernoids, you want to play only tier 1 decks. You don't even want to look at casual, and you don't hopefully not play against 1.5 because they will absolutely body you. But at tier 1, that's your matchup, or that's your only matchup. Easy win, boys. So now we have Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are dolls, any dino variant, realistically speaking. And I think Dinosaurs have definitely proven themselves this meta, out of all metas, that they're still a top contending deck. One of them previously won the Brooklyn Regionals. I believe it was over 400 player regionals this past weekend. I mean, that's not something that's easy to do. Having played against any kind of coastal regional, you're playing against players that play Yu-Gi-Oh constantly. Like, it's their life. And I'm in Kentucky. Okay, well, what's going on with Dinosaurs? Where's it gonna be? Should it be tier 0? Is it tier 1? Nope, not consistent enough. Consistency is key, my friends. But it's definitely a tier 1.5 deck. I think Dinosaurs is another deck that when you play against, you can never let your guard down. Because this deck will easily take over the game that fast. I do think Dinosaurs is a deck that has a huge Achilles heel, meaning they don't play that much back row, but they make up for it by just playing a good front row. And I think with a deck like Dinosaurs, it's going to be around for a good amount of time because they have insanely broken cards, like Overraptor and all the rest of the cards for the deck. It's just insane. They have Double Evolution Pill, which is an amazing card, and they work great in conjunction with Shadows, which is slowly starting to fall into other decks. It's slowly peeping through. And by February, Joes will have a new structure deck, and they might come back by themselves. You're going to see that when that happens. Next, Magical Musketeers. This deck would have been in the casual range. I would have very confidently said, you asked me a month ago, 2 months ago, Musketeers, they're casual. But they are insane right now. I mean, we can't put them at casual. It's impossible. In fact, I don't think any of these decks fit into casual. I just wanted here to show you guys that made a 4th tier. Magical Musketeers is definitely in tier 1.5. And anyone says no, well, play against them. Seriously, play against a decent player. Not an amazing player, just a decent Magical Musketeer deck. This meta is really weird. In fact, for the fact that a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players don't really play hand traps, but Magical Musketeers is all about hand traps. And Magical Musketeers has probably the best hand traps in the game right now. I mean, one of the hand traps, Daisy Needles, targets 3 cards in opponent's graveyard and banishes them. Musketeers can not only use that card, search that card out, but they can recycle that card easily. They have another card that negates a monster effect, makes the monster attack 0. Well, they also go into Utopia. So imagine going to Utopia, blasting your opponent's monster effects away, make his attack 0, go into Utopia, make it to go into Utopia double. That's game. And they can quickly, efficiently, and easily do it. You say you have back row, they have a spell speed 3 trap spell negation. Musketeers are 1.5. No doubt in my mind. They're a phenomenal deck. A lot of people sleep on them, and I get it, but they are a really good deck. I'll have an upcoming deck profile on this channel as well, guys, so please make sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Moving forward, Dracos. 1.5, easily. What I like about Dracos is they have, so for tier 1, I don't feel like their tier 1 matchups are bad, but they're not amazing at the same time. I think Dracos have a great, especially to go first, tier 1 matchup against Orcas or Orcas variants. I think they have a really good Orcas matchup. But going against combo, any combo-oriented deck like the Thunder Dragons, a combo deck, they just get blown out the water. They're not able to establish resource fast enough, or not able to establish consistent resource in, like, let's say we had 10 games, and can they do it all the time? So that is an issue. I think with Thunder Dragons, if they were more consistent as far as establishing their combos and set up as fast as possible, as early as possible, I'm saying like turn 1 early, maybe we could talk about having them tier 1. I kind of want them to be tier 1. But as far as looking at the previous regional tops and look at the plays, I talk about Thunder Dragons, it's 1.5. Exceptional plays would definitely make this to tier 1. Two Dracos definitely still have a problem against other decks like Thunder Dragons. If they don't get, there could only be 1 on board, they're screwed. They're in a bad position. But if they get only 1, they're going to be 1. They're good against a lot of decks. But so is that for any other control deck in a meta that can say that. So is that for Sky Strikers. Realistically speaking, I think that True Dracos, once again, is still a phenomenal deck, but against a lot of other decks, it's not as good. And for that, I think it has to be 1.5. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. So Invoke. Now, this is a really hard one because in the beginning, I mean, for a good amount of time, I think, and I kind of do still, that Invoked is more casual. I think Invoked is a weaker version of any of the tier 1.5 decks. I really, truly do. And there was like a tier 1.75 slot, it 100% will go to Invoke. Absolutely. But Invoked is still a good deck. Invoked is a deck you have to know, you have to respect, because if you allow the wrong effect to go through, you lose the game. That's simple. But for now, I think we're going to put Invoke to tier 1.5. Then we have Heroes. And Heroes was casual for it. It was probably the #1 casual tech that a majority of Yu-Gi-Oh players played. Almost hands down was Heroes. But with a bunch of new support coming out, I think we're seeing Heroes move up to 1.5. Absolutely, easily, no doubt in my mind. They're still a phenomenal deck, and certain boards they can make are insane. In fact, one of my favorite cards, Dark Lore for Heroes, is probably one of the best go-to cards against decks like Orcas. They play Orcas, you go Dark Lore, and you just look at them and go, hopefully you draw the outs, because this one card says you can't. It's really good. And I think Heroes definitely is another deck that has to be respected and can easily and quickly kill you. They can do it very consistently. They have a strong mid game, which I think is very important. And I think every one of these tier 1.5 decks also need to have that strong mid game. As you can see right here currently, they all have it. Tier 1 has the good early game as well as good mid game. As far as late game, Yu-Gi-Oh really never stretches into that. Thanks, Time Rules. Moving forward, Sky Strikers. Obviously 1.5, I was hoping this deck would be tier 2. It's still seeing some play, but not a lot. In fact, I think Sky Strikers is going to slowly fall out by the next bans come this January. They're a very good deck still, and they definitely have a lot of good graveyard manipulation, but so does their friends over here, Magical Musketeers. Like, that's really, realistically, the only difference. If Magical Musketeers had to engage, we wouldn't be talking about Sky Strikers anymore. We'd only be talking about Magical Musketeers. Think of it that way. That's all Musketeers need to be over on Sky Strikers. Musketeers, let me explain that to you again. Because Sky Strikers was like the dominant deck, and now over here in 2019, the end of 2019, Musketeers can beat them. Just one new card release. I'm next, Grand Maju. So I'm placing Grand Maju at 1.5, snap throwing that bad boy down. And you're kind of seeing the meta we're having Shade for us right here. This is the current meta we're in right now. And we're gonna keep going, but like this is what cards we're looking at right now, because this is why, even though this meta is kind of boring, because we all play these decks, we all have seen these decks so many times, and we want new decks, this is what we have to deal with currently right now. Now, going back to Grand Maju, I think Grand Maju is a very good deck, and it has great matchups, and it has horrible matchups. With that, it will definitely make the rank of tier 1.5. Also, Grand Maju is a deck that definitely can catch a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players off guard, because it starts off with dangers, you're running danger Grand Maju, and by the time Grand Maju finally hits board, well, counter banish pile. It's kind of important. So once again, I think this is a great deck, but it's not that good enough. So I'm gonna put Ultigeist and Guru Control up at the same time, because they both have the same pros and cons. With the Ultigeist, getting Multi-Faker limited actually does hurt the deck. I know we got a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players out there that go, we need Ultigeist Multi-Faker to 1, and that's all we needed. Wrong. 100% wrong. 100% wrong with Ultigeist. I think Faker to 3 is definitely needed. 2, we could probably work it out. Multi-Faker to 1, you're playing a whole different entire deck. That's why I no longer play Ultigeist. I've been playing them for what? Almost about a little over a year, actually. I think I've been playing Ultigeist. As far as Guru, your turn 1's the most boring turn 1 of the game. There's no meta deck that has a boring turn 1 besides Guru Control. Hell, even Magical Musketeers have a more interesting turn 1 than Guru Control. Guru Control's turn 1, search Guru, search some stuff, set back row, pass turn. Stellar. IQ 2000 turn 1. It's insanely boring. But with that said, Guru Control and Ultigeist decks are the same deck. They're trying to grab pieces of their engine in one side, and the other side they want to grab a bunch of non-specific negates, Solemn Judgment, Solemn Strike, all those kind of floodgate cards that they try to play, and they want to throw them together every turn. Now let's say you grab a turn in which you only grab all your counter pieces, but you don't grab no negations with any of these decks. Well, you lose the game. Let's say you flip it and grab all the negations and no counter pieces. Well, you don't lose the game immediately, you just lose a lot of life points, and then there's a good chance you'll lose the game if you don't grab those counter pieces. But when you grab both of them together, the deck's insane. It's phenomenal, and it's absolutely one of the best decks out there, but it cannot do it consistently, and that's the issue with both. I think these are probably the best control decks in the game, hands down, but they both have the same Achilles heel, hands down. You just don't consistently draw the cards you want to draw, and you just lose out. With that said, I still think Orcas has great potential, and I think KONAMI put multi-figure 2, then Orcas can play evenly matched in the main. Because without evenly matching the main, this deck is 1.5. With evenly matching the main, we might be able to talk something else. And in fact, looking at all these other decks, you can see why evenly match is such a good card. Evenly match against all these decks is almost a blowout card. And this is it's a card that used to be used on Alta guys. I know I personally used it and got a bunch of regional tops with Alta guys. And then you proc a multi-figure after that. Well, that's just icing on the cake. Moving forward, somewhat Endymion. So what are you thinking? Endymion's 1.5? Casual? Wrong. They're definitely a tier 1 deck. The thing about Endymion is they're a very inexpensive tier 1 deck that has a lot of great potential and has a lot of different combos that do the same kind of thing. Put a board for the gates and don't try to kill your opponent the very next turn. That's basically what Endymions do, and they do it really well. And I think what makes Endymions more tier 1 than 1.5 is the fact they can do it very easily. The deck rarely bricks, and against other decks in the meta, Endymions just have a great matchup. They're good in general. Now, I'm not trying to specifically talk about Paul Cooper, the guy who's been topping all over the place with Endymion Magicians, with a lot of spicy techs. No. I'm talking about just Endymion Magicians in general. We can make an argument for Pendulum Magicians, and for regular Pendulum Magicians, I would put that at 1.5 because it's not as good, but Endymion's definitely take the deck to the next level. Endymion's definitely got a lot of deck to play more fluid, more consistent, and more importantly, more cheaper than the rest of these decks in the game. How cheap? Well, you could probably take an Endymion deck and not spend a lot of money and still have an easy tier 1 top 8 easily. Comment below, guys, let me know what you think about that. Then we have Light Orcas. This deck's tier 1. And in fact, regular Orcas, I'm gonna put this the same, it's tier 1. There's regular Orcas, Light Orcas, there's Orcas bedazzled all over the place. But realistically, and more specifically, pure Orcas and Light Orcas, and going second Orcas, which is like the anti-version of both these decks, is definitely the tier 1 slot, 100%. And the reason I want to say Light Orcas and pure Orcas specifically, because these decks are very dynamically different. Light Orcas starts off with a Light combo, and then ends with a Abyss Dweller slash Orcas combo. And they try to rotate that over and over again. They have the most consistent build out there right now. I think Cotton easily is the best build. But with pure Orcas, you just want to create Orcas combo. But you want to go through a ton of cards to create your Orcas combo. You want to always have it available, and you always want to establish that board state with Orcas consistently. Going second Orcas, well, you just want to run Super Polymerization and all these cool little, adorable negation cards, and then you end with Orcas combo. No matter what, you're trying to end with Orcas combo. Now, looking at both these decks, I think these decks are absolutely tier 1. They've been destroying the meta all over the place. I don't care where you are. Normally, it's like Yu-Gi-Oh! North America, Yu-Gi-Oh! South America, where like Endymions like live, and then Yu-Gi-Oh! Europe, where we just see a bunch of decks. But you gotta like look at some, especially like German and Italian decks. I have to look at it more specifically, because they play more Yu-Gi-Oh! And they have a more diverse meta, and they're very competitive. These are all like different decks all over the place. But one thing unifying them right now is Orcas. Orcas are unifying all these decks all over the place. And that's one thing that's something very interesting to note. If you're a Yu-Gi-Oh player right now, you're looking to play in the regionals, you're gonna want to look to play against Orcas. If you make your way into top cut, if you make your way round 7, you're X1, you're more than likely gonna be able to play against an Orcas where maybe in the early rounds, you might play one of these team 1.5 decks. Whether you're playing these 1.5 decks to begin with or not is inconsequential. Orcas is definitely the main top dog in the room right now. It's a big deck in format, the BDIF as they call it in Pokemon. And it's true, Orcas is definitely the most dominant deck. I still say keep an eye out for Pendulum Magicians. Endymion Magicians, definitely keep an eye out for combo. And definitely keep an eye out for Salamangreat. Now, we haven't seen much Salamangreat lately, but it's always still available. The reason we really haven't seen much Salamangreat is because the sign-up mining is so expensive. The minute sign-up mining gets a reprint, we will see more Salamangreat. Those who currently own Salamangreats, well, they're doing things with sign-up mining. It's just, you're seeing it all over the place. Salamangreat is still a top tier deck. It's a deck you don't want to play against, and it's a deck that's very good right now. Now, we are starting to see a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players move more into Abyss Dweller, putting it on board, which definitely hurts Salamangreat heavily. But Salamangreat Party has the best consistent going first hand, going first game, and going first whatever in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh right now. They have one generic search card plus 3 sided mining, and they have a bunch of Salamangreat cards in their hand. They're always trying to end on the same board. They always want to have the same board, whether it's early game, whether it's mid game, and you get them to late game, well, there's nothing different. They're just going to play the same board. I do think Salamangreat definitely have a huge problem, though, as they could run into issues with Nibiru at times, as they could run into issues with getting blown out easily by your opponent, because there's a lot of ways to open that board up, and with a lot of players, you know, utilizing super polymerization, and with the release of OTS Pack 11, the Salamangreat at a higher rarity, you can play have more access to that card. It does hurt a lot, but they are one of the best decks still in the meta, absolutely. And I think this other card over here, Mystic Mind Burn, I mean, we'll say 1.5, but realistically speaking, it's really good against a lot of decks. I'll give you a great example. You do a full combo with this C-free combo deck, and I open a Mystic Mime, and I bet your first negate, your spell and trap negate, well, tier 0, you do lose the game. Most of these decks don't have an answer in the main deck for it. If I do it against Pendulum Magicians, and you make your whole board, and I summon a Magician monster, let's say, whatever it is, and then I bring out Mystic Mime, you lose the game. You don't main and negate. Orcas players, you know what's gonna happen. You lose the game. I bet your one negate, and I play Mystic Mime, the game's over. Pure Orcas players, well, see you in game 2, my friend, because game 1's mine. And Salamangreat players, you already know the deal. You don't really have that many answers. You have I believe you have a trap way to stop it. I think you have another way to negate it too, but other than that, this card's hitting board, and more than likely, you're not gonna be able to do nothing against it. Now, let's look at these other decks, because this is very important. Against Marine Cess, well, that hurts you too, doesn't it? Against Thunder Dragons, hurts you too. Against hurt you too. It doesn't hurt you at all. In fact, your Dracos want to see Mystic Mime because that's the free win. Hurts you though. Hurts you. Doesn't really hurt Magical Musketeers. Hurts you. Grandmaster kind of hurts you. And against other control decks, well, especially all the guys that have Spirit Personal Swooping that cycle in, it doesn't hurt you. Basically, Mystic Mime's tier 0. In fact, it's so good, we're seeing some of these top tier decks run Mystic Mime in his side. Like, I saw a Thunder Dragon deck that, like, sided into Mystic Mime. They're like, I just need to go one Colossal Mystic Mime against the matchups. And the problem is, they're not wrong. Because most decks playing against Thunder Dragons don't want to put in, like, Spell and Trap Negation or Spell and Trap Removal because, you know, Thunder Dragons. But yeah, you see Mystic Mime still go in and being utilized in Thunder Dragons. This card is broken, and this card's tier 0. And I'm shocked this card's not hit yet, but probably in January will be hit. So enjoy it when you got them. Use them while you got them, boys. And take this information and utilize it in whatever deck you're playing at your upcoming regionals. And hopefully you guys do good. This card's broken, it's degenerate, and you're gonna make no friends. But if you want to get your invite, it really matter though. Anyway, guys, this is my take on the meta right now. I do think, once again, if you are playing 1.5, you have the opportunity easily to still consistently make top 8. We're seeing a lot of players still do it. If you're playing a 1.5 deck, your deck's not trash at all. Your deck is definitely not trash. You definitely have a good deck. You don't need to swap decks out unless you're bored of your current deck, and like I have been bored and play your deck forever. You want to play something different and new. I totally get that and respect that. But for realistically speaking, we're gonna have a different meta in about 2 months. In fact, next month we'll probably be talking about banlist speculation, and we just got a banlist that fast. So please keep that into consideration as you are currently building a deck or working to build a deck. Have it done early or just wait until the next banlist coming out. Once again, it's coming out soon. Don't put too much money into this meta or to this market unless you're hollifying your decks or you're looking to invest on future decks or future cards. Well, once again, with the release of new bands come out in January, it's very important. And if you're looking to do any of that stuff, well, give it a chance to subscribe. Check it out. Hit the like button because I'll be doing market watching and we'll be talking about those kind of cards. Now, look at this meta right now. It's not the fire. It's not solid. And I think it's something that's very important to note. We can see Salamangreats 4 to 1.5. We can see 2 Dracos become tier 1. We can easily see that with the meta. Easily right now. So please keep that into consideration as you are looking at these cards, looking at these decks and going, I wish I had a tier 1 deck. You don't need one, realistically speaking. 1.5 has done the trick for you. And in fact, last year, I don't think all the guys were never a tier 1 deck. And I think I got like 4 or 5 regional invites with Ultigeist done by themselves. I think it was like 4 or 5, I could be wrong. It was around that with the Ultigeist. You do not need a tier 1 deck to get your regional invite. But if you do have a tier 1 deck, you're playing the most consistent build of the deck, your most consistent deck right now of the meta. At least one of the top tier contending consistent deck. My take on the future of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's gonna change drastically. I think KONAMI, and I mean this 100%, is gonna make a tier 0 deck come in the meta. That's gonna blow all these decks off the meta. Think about it. We had a bunch of reprints already. Dual Devastator, Dual Power, Megatons, reprints. And everyone has their decks, and at high rarity, more for the most part, cheaper value for the most part, for these tier 1 decks. When you're coming like KONAMI, you want to throw in a little something crazy in there. You want to throw a tier 0 in the deck in there. And I said this on my market watch the other day, but I really mean this. You throw a tier 0 deck in there, and then you sit back, you pop your collar, and you go, buy this deck, buy the cards for this deck, or whatever decks you are playing that's tier 1, 1.5. you know, go have fun trying to fight this bad boy, because this is a BDIF, big deck in the format, and you just bring this deck in there, tier 0, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Players go crazy. We go nuts. We talk about ban speculation for the future ban list. You talk about future set releases that can combat this deck, and then you drop another tier 0 deck in there. Boom, another tier 0 deck in there, and you go, hey, do you even want to play this tier 1 decks anymore? Because we got 2 BDIFs now, boys. What are you gonna do, paisanos? You're gonna play tier 0 if you want your ritual invite. You're gonna play tier 0 if you want your UDS top. You're gonna play tier 0 if you want your Shonen Jump YCS, whatever they call it next, top cut. And you're gonna play the new tier 0 deck, especially if you want to do good at National. So you're gonna go into these. And with the release of the current ban list coming up, this whole system might change. Tier 1 might become 1.5, tier 1.5 might become tier 1, or even casual. And that's how exciting this game is on a constant basis. And this is why I love this game. I love the dynamics of all these decks and how easily it can be changed. And this is all speculation when I talk about tier 0 decks. We might not get no tier 0 decks. We might get just tier 1 as it currently stands right now. This might be the top 10 ending dog. But the way Konami is, and historically speaking, it's been a while since we had an atom bomb drop. And we know when atom bombs, we got Hiroshima and we got Nagasaki. And for this Nationals, I wouldn't be surprised if we got both. It's your boy V, and you paisanos have a great rest of your day.